Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Simon.
And Max.
And this is SiMax.
Okay guys, so this is a brand new series we're starting on this channel. It is called Smart SiMax. We won't be doing this every week, but it will be replacing the gaming videos every few weeks. So instead of acting goofy and doing stupid stuff
Like usual.
Yeah, like usual, we are actually gonna give you guys some knowledge on any topic. Today we're doing a Game of Thrones special video. We'll explain that in a minute. But yeah, so if you are liking this video and if you think Smart SiMax is a good idea, slap that like button down below.
Slap it and subscribe. Join the SiMax squad. Let's go.
In this video we will be talking about what would happen if Rhaegar Targaryen killed Robert Baratheon on the Trident. So we all know that towards the end of Robert's rebellion, there was a huge battle on the Trident. Eventually in this battle, Rhaegar Targaryen and Robert Baratheon found each other and had a 1v1 duel.
Yeah boy, 1v1 no scopes.
I mean, what are the odds of these two guys finding each other? There were literally thousands of people on the Trident. I guess they just got lucky. On second thought, Rhaegar actually didn't get that lucky. In this battle, he was actually killed by Robert. Rhaegar's death led to the downfall of House Targaryen, the house that ruled for nearly 300 years.
Exciting stuff, but what would have happened if Rhaegar won? Before we get into this, let's talk about who was on whose side in this war. Robert's Rebellion, also known as the War of the Usurper, was primarily instigated by Eddard Stark, Jon Arryn, and Robert Baratheon. Eddard, also known as Ned Stark, was on Robert's side. Rhaegar Targaryen actually kidnapped Eddard's sister, Lyanna, and kept her in the Tower of Joy. But there are rumors that it was not really a kidnap. We've all heard that theory of what really happened in that tower. Spoiler alert, Jon Snow. Jon Arryn, Lord of the Vale, was on Robert's side. Ned's older brother, his heir, and their supporters demanded redress for Rhaegar's wrongs. But instead, King Aerys had them brutally slain. After this, the king demanded that Jon Arryn execute Robert Baratheon and Eddard Stark. Lord Arryn refused and called his banners. The Tullys were also on Robert's side because the Tully daughters, Catelyn and Lysa, were betrothed to Eddard Stark and Jon Arryn.
Okay, so that's who's on Robert's side. But who supported the crown? Who was on Rhaegar Targaryen's side? After Robert left Storm's End, it was left open to Lord Tyrell. 10,000 spears marched from Dorne to King's Landing to join the Targaryens as well. Dorne came in defense of Princess Elia Martell, who was married to Rhaegar. She also had two kids, Rhaenys and Aegon. The Lannisters also supported the Targaryens. Some say it was only because King Aerys kept Sir Jaime Lannister close to serve as a hostage. Robert killed Rhaegar on the Trident, Eddard went back to Winterfell, and Jon Arryn served as Hand of the King, and everything was happy. Once Tywin Lannister found out Rhaegar was dead, he switched sides immediately, but the Mad King did not know this. King Aerys let Tywin's army inside King's Landing. The Lannister killed all the guards in the city. Thus began the sack of King's Landing. King Aerys sent his younger son, Viserys, and the Queen away to Dragonstone. Not long after this, the Red Keep was breached. Misfortune soon fell upon Elia of Dorne and the children, Rhaenys and Aegon. They were all murdered. That's awful. Sir Jaime Lannister did as he thought best for the realm and murdered the Mad King. But what if Rhaegar killed Robert instead? All this would have turned out differently. So let's talk about that. So we are going to go through all the main families and characters and say what would happen to them if Rhaegar killed Robert. So let's start with the Lannisters. Tywin Lannister would never have sacked King's Landing. Sacked it right in the balls.
And the balls.
The only reason he did was because he wanted to join the winning side of the war. Tywin's favorite NHL team would be the Chicago Blackhawks, because basically he's the biggest bandwagon in the world. I do not think Tywin would resume his position as Hand of the King. Jaime would have continued to serve as a member of the King's Guard, but not for King Aerys.
Oh, it's gonna get exciting here. Remember, because there was no sack of King's Landing, the Mad King would still be alive. But Rhaegar would try to dethrone him. When Rhaegar was leaving King's Landing, he told Jaime that when he returns, changes will be made. Rhaegar could have called a great council. A great council is formed when the inheritance of the throne is unclear. So all the lords would meet at one place, decide Aerys is a psychopath, and replace him with Rhaegar. Rhaegar could also devise a plan to kill the Mad King. Either would have worked perfectly, and the Mad King would have been out of here. The new Hand of the King could possibly be Jon Connington, as he had experience of being Hand of the King, and he was one of the few close friends of Rhaegar Targaryen.
Since Cersei Lannister would never marry Robert, she would most likely stay at Casterly Rock, far, far away from Jaime. Because of this, Tommen, Myrcella, and Joffrey would never be born. Haha, Joffrey, you were never born, you little piece of shit!
That's right, that's right. Assuming that Rhaegar did love Lyanna Stark, he would have had sympathy for Ned Stark and his friend Jon Arryn. Ned Stark would become Lord of Winterfell, and Jon Arryn would continue to be Lord of the Vale.
It makes the most sense that Lyanna did die in the Tower of Joy while giving birth. Assuming that baby is Jon Snow, which we all know it is,
Yeah.
Rhaegar would find Ned and raise Jon as his own. People would definitely spread rumors about Rhaegar, but Rhaegar seems like an honorable man who would want to be the father of his own son, bastard or not. Jon would be raised in King's Landing or on Dragonstone. He could go by the name of Jon or Waters, since Waters is a common last name for bastards born in the area around King's Landing. Rhaegar could even give him his own last name, just like Roose Bolton did with Ramsay. Ramsay, you little shit!
Bunch of little shits.
Jon Targaryen, that sounds like a cool name. So which sounds better, guys? Jon Targaryen or Jon Stark?
Comment below! Nothing would change with the Tyrells, and the Red Winds, since they supported the Targaryens the whole time. Dorne would also have no complaints. They would just be happy Elia Martell and her children are safe. Hey, maybe now Bjorn won't get his head smashed in. Hey!
Spoiler!
Spoiler!
Now what would happen with the rest of the Targaryens? Rhaela Targaryen would still die giving birth to Daenerys. Oh, Daenerys, the mother of dragons herself. Guess what? If Rhaegar killed Robert, you would never become the mother of dragons. Goodbye, Drogon. Have a nice life. Daenerys and Viserys would end up growing up in either King's Landing or Dragonstone. And like all Targaryens, it would not be surprising if Viserys and Daenerys got married. Which sucks for Daenerys, because if Viserys, you are an asshole!
Asshole!
Aegon would become Rhaegar's heir, which could create conflict. Viserys seems like a guy who would also really want to sit the Iron Throne. Greedy Viserys.
He's a little bitch. In this version of the story, a lot of people do have happier endings, but Game of Thrones is not Game of Thrones without some death.
At the end of the day, guys, everything happened the way it did for a reason. Because in Game of Thrones, all men must die.